certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress.
I mean, you have to have boundaries.
Wow. Wow. I don't think anyone saw this one coming.
Welcome back to Fame Flux, where the truth behind fame gets exposed. Tension in the comedy world just exploded as Dave Chappelle took direct aim at Kevin Hart in a shocking onstage rant that has fans and insiders stunned.
Chappelle, another great comedian, said that, in the industry, they tried to make him wear a dress. Have you ever ran into that with scripts, and is that something that, you wouldn't do, for
I definitely haven't ran into to put on the dress. I mean, you have to have boundaries.
Wow.
During an unannounced comedy set in New York, Chappelle veered off script and addressed what he called the Hollywood takeover of comedy, singling out Kevin Hart by name and labeling him a Hollywood mutt.
My name and likeness is being used by them in perpetuity throughout the universe. It's in the contract.
The comment drew gasps from the crowd as Chappelle accused Hart of sacrificing authenticity for fame and favor within the industry. "They don't groom comedians anymore," he said. "They breed them, like mutts, watered down for primetime laughs." While Chappelle didn't stop Hart's name from leaving his mouth, the implications were loud and clear. He believes Hart has become more of a brand than a true comedian. This comes amid growing discussions about the divide between raw, socially critical comedians like Chappelle and mainstream entertainers like Hart. For years, fans have compared the two, but this moment has shattered any illusion of unity.
What do you want, Shanae?
Oh my goodness. If it isn't Little Miss Attitude, why are you always over here?
Kevin Hart has yet to publicly respond, but sources close to him say he's disappointed and views Chappelle's remarks as unnecessary and divisive. This clash isn't just about two comedians. It's about the soul of stand-up. And now that Chappelle has drawn a line in the sand, the comedy world may never look the same. Dave Chappelle is now addressing the persistent rumors surrounding Kevin Hart's meteoric rise to fame, specifically claims that Hart's success came at a cost. According to emerging reports, Chappelle believes Kevin would have never reached his current status without agreeing to certain compromises he once claimed he'd never make. Both Dave Chappelle and Kevin Hart are highly accomplished comedians. However, their paths in the entertainment industry could not be more different. While Kevin Hart is often praised for his relentless work ethic and mainstream appeal, Dave Chappelle has consistently drawn attention for exposing the hidden forces within Hollywood.
Everybody wants to know, why'd you walk away from $50 million?
Well, I wasn't walking away from the money.
Yeah.
I was walking away from the circumstances that were coming with the newfound plateau.
Forces that, according to Chappelle, manipulate and exploit talent to fit a commercial narrative. One of the more unsettling claims Chappelle has spoken about involves the industry's recurring push for black male entertainers to wear dresses on screen. This trend, which has been widely discussed and critiqued, is said to function as a sort of unspoken initiation. The controversy isn't just about the wardrobe, it's about the deeper message.
I've been in show business since I was 14, and I've heard the stories of what happens, and I've seen these kinds of things play out in front of me.
Okay.
When
you say you heard the stories, what do you mean? What stories?
I mean, you see before, look, Mariah Carey made a $100 million deal, and 3 months later, she's all of a sudden mysteriously crazy. Or Martin Lawrence punches through and he's waving a gun on the street screaming, "They're trying to kill me."
Yeah, we hear those stories.
And it always happens around the time of their career where it seems as though they're crossing over the next plateau.
Often, these portrayals exaggerate and caricature black femininity in ways that reinforce harmful stereotypes. For Chappelle, the pattern is too consistent to ignore. And in Kevin Hart's case, This may be part of the reason many are now questioning whether his rise came at the expense of certain values.
Sounds like somebody's trying to put young Dave in a compromising position. Oprah.
Whether it's a widely believed conspiracy or an uncomfortable truth, there's no denying one thing. Black male entertainers are disproportionately depicted in cross-dressing roles compared to their white counterparts. Over the years, numerous black comedians and actors have spoken out about being asked, sometimes pressured, to wear dresses, even in scenes where it had no narrative relevance. This recurring pattern raises critical questions about racial dynamics in the entertainment industry and what is required to succeed. Among the entertainers who challenged this practice is Dave Chappelle. In 2005, he famously rejected a $50 million contract with Comedy Central and abruptly left the country, heading to South Africa without prior notice.
When I connect dots that maybe shouldn't be connected, I don't know. But certain dots, like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in a dress at some point in their career, I'll be connecting them down like, wow, all these brothers gotta wear a dress. This happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin.
Yeah.
The movie's going good. So I walk in a trailer. I'm like, man, this must be the wrong trailer because there's a dress in here.
While he was away, the tabloid media swirled with speculation. Rumors circulated rapidly, accusing him of drug abuse and suffering a mental breakdown. However, when Dave returned, he sat down for a revealing interview on the Oprah Winfrey Show. During this conversation, he clarified that he didn't walk away from the money itself, but rather from the obligations and compromises tied to it.
Come in, the writer comes in. I think he's the writer. He's like, Dave, listen, you got this hilarious scene where Martin's sneaking out of jail. So he disguises you as a prostitute. And he put this dress on, and what? This prostitute? Nah, I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with that. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats have done it. So, well, if all the greats have done it, it's kind of hacky, right? You're right. So why don't we just not do it? Because I don't feel comfortable wearing a dress. Oh, come on, Dave. Listen, we got it all set up. We're supposed to shoot. Every minute you waste costs this much money. You know, the pressure comes.
He described a moment of awakening where he realized that many entertainers were subjected to psychological manipulation and subtle forms of coercion before reaching elite levels of fame. Dave emphasized that what pushed him away was not insanity, but clarity. He observed a disturbing pattern where artists were forced to sacrifice their dignity or identity in order to ascend. That realization made him walk away, not from success, but from a system he no longer trusted. When Oprah asked Dave Chappelle to elaborate on what he was expected to do under his Comedy Central contract, he revealed that he was being pushed to create sketches that felt socially irresponsible. According to Dave, the intention behind these sketches seemed to be mocking him rather than inviting audiences to laugh with him. This realization deeply unsettled him and contributed to his decision to walk away from the deal. But the story didn't end there. Dave also addressed the persistent theory circulating in the entertainment world, that black entertainers are often pressured to wear dresses as a supposed rite of passage for mainstream success. He recounted a personal experience that unfolded while filming a movie with Martin Lawrence. During production, the writers suddenly brought him a scene requiring him to wear a dress.
Producers come on, David would be so great. I mean, and then I started thinking about it. All the comics that I've seen, man, you know, strong brothers, why they be putting us in these dresses? But the minute it was clear, I was adamant, I'm not wearing a dress, I'm not wearing the dress. All right, fine, think of something else. That comes back 10 minutes later, the whole new scene, hot damn, how did you write the scene so?
Feeling uncomfortable with the request, Dave immediately voiced his concerns. However, instead of respecting his boundary, the producers continued to pressure him, insisting that all the greats had done it. According to Dave, they tried to normalize the demand by comparing him to other comedians who had complied with similar requests. What alarmed him even more was learning that the studio had prepared two versions of the script, one with the dress scene and one without, clearly anticipating his refusal. This led Dave to conclude that the situation wasn't spontaneous or unique, but rather part of a recurring industry trend. He urged actors and comedians to hold the line, stand by their values, and recognize when humor is being weaponized to undermine their dignity. Now, the connection to Kevin Hart begins to surface clearly. Back in 2013, Kevin appeared in a Saturday Night Live sketch wearing a dress, despite having previously stated he would never do so. In that particular sketch, Kevin portrayed an exaggerated character in a comedic setting, a choice that drew attention due to its contrast with his earlier remarks. Just a year before that appearance, Kevin had a minor role in the romantic comedy The 5-Year Engagement. While promoting the film, during an interview with Blacktree TV, Kevin was asked about Dave Chappelle's statements regarding black comedians being pressured to wear dresses. At the time, Kevin nervously laughed, then acknowledged that he agreed with Dave about the need to establish boundaries and protect one's personal brand. That's what made his SNL appearance the following year so surprising to many fans. After stepping into the sketch wearing a dress, Kevin faced significant backlash, with critics accusing him of compromising his values for industry approval and exposure. It wasn't that Kevin wasn't already doing well, he had stand-up specials and film roles, but the trajectory of his career shifted dramatically after that SNL episode. Soon after, Kevin was cast in a series of high-profile Hollywood films, including Get Hard with Will Ferrell, The Wedding Ringer, Central Intelligence with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and the rebooted Jumanji franchise.
New Pope is 9-year-old Oscar nominee, Pavenshanay Wallace.
Wow. Wow. I don't think anyone saw this one coming.
Around the same time, he launched Heartbeat Productions and inked a major deal with Nickelodeon in 2018. That same year, however, Kevin publicly admitted to cheating on his wife Eniku Parrish while she was pregnant, a personal controversy that further fueled media scrutiny. Despite Kevin Hart's public admission of infidelity in 2018, his career faced little to no disruption. In fact, between 2018 and 2022, Kevin continued to flourish professionally. He appeared in 8 major studio films, secured significant partnerships with platforms such as Facebook, Peacock, and YouTube through his production company, hosted high-profile events and awards ceremonies, and featured in several national advertising campaigns. Yet, in sharp contrast, Dave Chappelle experienced media backlash and character attacks for turning down a $50 million contract. His decision, rooted in maintaining creative control and personal integrity, was portrayed as erratic or unstable by mainstream outlets. This contrast underscores a deeper issue within Hollywood, an industry where compliance is rewarded and resistance is often punished. Morals and principles in this system are rarely championed. Instead, obedience and profit margins take center stage. Who exactly controls this framework remains murky. Still, many veteran entertainers have pointed to a concealed power structure. Comedians like Katt Williams have frequently alluded to the existence of a so-called secret society operating behind the scenes in Hollywood. When Katt was asked about Kevin Hart wearing a dress during his SNL appearance, he explained that such actions were part of a long-standing pattern within the industry. Katt emphasized that Kevin wasn't the first black entertainer to put on a dress before reaching major stardom. He also noted that artists like himself and Dave Chappelle are unlikely to reach the same level of commercial saturation simply because they refuse to participate in what he calls the system controlled by Hollywood's unspoken network of influence. Katt Williams has long claimed that the power structure behind the entertainment industry is far more dangerous than the public understands. According to Katt, he had to endure repeated setbacks, metaphorically described as being stung 1,000,000 times, before fully grasping the kind of forces he was up against. His commentary points to an environment where influence is protected by secrecy, and questioning that system comes at a steep price. When asked why he allowed the media to distort his image after speaking out, Katt hinted that resistance can be met with professional sabotage. He implied that the consequences of exposing certain truths are so severe, many are forced into silence. His cautionary stance echoes broader concerns shared by other entertainers about what really happens when individuals challenge Hollywood's unwritten rules. As for Kevin Hart, the link between wearing a dress on national television and his career's rapid rise remains speculative. Kevin is undeniably talented and committed, but it's also true that many observers question the timing of his major breakthrough, especially since it followed a moment many entertainers see as a symbolic gesture of submission. Sources close to Dave Chappelle have indicated that he's long been skeptical of Kevin's relentless drive for mainstream approval. There's a sentiment that Kevin's pursuit of commercial success may have led him to compromise values he once claimed to hold. According to those familiar with Chappelle's views, it seems he grew increasingly uncomfortable with how Kevin appeared willing to prioritize fame over principle. These tensions reveal the deeper conversation many artists are now having about what it really costs to win in Hollywood. In the years following Kevin Hart's rise, questions about industry compromise have only intensified. While Hollywood has always operated behind closed doors, the patterns are now harder to ignore. Comedians once seen as fringe are suddenly being vindicated. As more entertainers speak up, either subtly through interviews or more directly in lawsuits and exposés, the public is beginning to connect the dots. One of the most glaring issues is the recurring trajectory of black male entertainers. Many start with grassroots, authentic platforms, building loyal audiences. But once they step into Hollywood's highest circles, their image shifts dramatically. From scripts that reinforce stereotypes to roles that undercut their dignity, it's becoming increasingly difficult to deny a system at work. Meanwhile, Dave Chappelle's stance has aged well. He warned the world about what happens when artists are pressured to compromise their identity in exchange for global visibility. His refusal to conform hasn't hurt his legacy, it's strengthened it. Today, he sells out arenas and retains full creative control, proving that integrity can still lead to success, though it's a harder path. Kevin Hart's journey, in contrast, is one of commercial domination, but also of growing scrutiny. His rise is no longer discussed purely in terms of talent, but in the context of trade-offs. Audiences are now asking, was the fame worth the cost? And with Katt Williams continuing to challenge industry norms and Dave Chappelle still refusing to fold, the gap between independent success and institutional control is growing more obvious. The real question isn't whether there's a secret system in Hollywood. It's how many more careers will have to expose it before that system is brought to light. It's become clear. This was never just about comedy or fashion choices. For many, Kevin Hart's journey has sparked a bigger conversation about principles, power, and the price of fame. As one viewer put it, it's not the dress itself, it's what crossing that line meant to him. The concern isn't about style, it's about compromise and how far someone will go when fame is the prize. Kevin once spoke boldly about boundaries. Now fans are wondering if those boundaries were erased the moment success came calling. Whether it's Dave Chappelle standing firm or Katt Williams pulling back the curtain, more and more voices are challenging the industry's unspoken rules. So, was it just a comedy sketch or something much bigger? Let us know what you think in the comments. Did Kevin Hart truly sell out? Or is this all overblown? If you found this story eye-opening, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss the next deep dive. There's more to come.